Good morning, class 10. Children, today I'll be starting with a new chapter. As we already know that we have got over with the last chapter, circulatory system. And today I am going to start with this new chapter, chemical coordination in plants. Right? This is more of a theoretical chapter, not including much diagrams, but very, very important with respect to the objective questions. Right, children? So, the first thing that we will be beginning with is that why we are calling this chapter chemical coordination. What is exactly you are going to study in this chapter? You are going to study about the plant hormones, right? The way human beings have their own hormones, that is, animal hormones are separate. Similarly, plants' hormones do exist, and you call them phytohormones. At the bottom of the screen, you can see that I have written phytohormones. Phyto means plants, and hormones means, the chemicals which are present in plants, and they do have a particular function. Right, children? First of all, you understand the meaning, generally, the meaning of hormone. Hormone is derived from the word hormone, and this literally means to excite or to stimulate. Right? So, any chemical within your body or within a plant body which is capable of stimulating or exciting you so that you react to a particular thing, right? So this is basically the function that the hormones, they basically make you respond, make you take action against something, right? So we will be proceeding with these plant hormones in this chapter. Various types of plant hormones are there, and what is the effect of these hormones over the plant growth and development, and then what are the various types of stimulus that plant receives and react to, right? But before beginning with all those details, you need to understand that I was talking about chemical coordination. Chemical, we are referring to the hormones, plant hormones, and a coordination means that all the hormones which are present in plant, they work as a team. Some are needed for increasing the growth and developmental rate, and some are because you always need a switch on and switch off everywhere, right? We never need something which is growing on and on and on. We need to switch off the growth at some point. Similarly, these hormones work as a team, and some work for the acceleration of growth and development, and some work for the inhibition, right? But that's why we call it chemical coordination. That means the chemical hormones present in plants, they are coordinating with each other to work in a team so that the proper growth and development of the plant can take place, right, children? But again, few terminologies which will be repeated again and again, and this will help you in animal when you will study nervous system. At that time, the same terms would be coming, but with reference to human beings, right? Stimulus and response. The words are quite familiar. Everyone knows. At the level of class 6, the people are taught about stimulus and response. But again, we will be doing it. Stimulus is any external or internal factor. That means any factor which is present outside your body or present inside your body, but that factor is compelling you to react. It is making you to react. Suppose you have bright light over your eyes, you just close the eyelids or you just turn the head around because you don't want to face that. So that light has made you react. If someone pinches you, you just draw the hand back. Right, if you touch the hot plate, you just withdraw your hand. That is something. You are reacting to something. You are reacting to temperature. You are reacting to light. Right, you are reacting to sometimes when you fight. The other person, suppose, if shouts at you, so you also shout back. So anything, any factor which is actually making you react, that is a stimulus. It can be external, the way I talked about temperature, light, and all, and it can be internal too. Internal means the hormones which are present inside the body, they can make your body to take some action, right? So as of now we will not be talking about animals because this is with reference to plants, but stimulus works the same. It is any external or internal factor which either compels an animal or compels a plant to react. The plants do react to hormones, right? So this hormone would be acting as a stimulus, right? Response means, I mean, this is the action that you show against a particular stimulus. The way just I talked about, when a bright light falls on your eyes, you just turn your head around, right? So what was your response? Turning the head around. Why did you turn your head? Because the light was falling on your eyes. So the light was the stimulus and turning the head around was your response, right? When you talk about the plants, dear, in that case, plants cannot turn their head around, obviously. In that case, how do they react? If there are hormones inside the plant and secretion of these hormones are actually compelling the plant to react in some way, so how it would react? It cannot show the fast responses, right? It cannot withdraw the hand, it cannot shake the leaves, it cannot move the stems just in response to the hormone. But what will be their response? Either the bending movement, very slow, but bending movement towards the light. Must have seen, if you put a plant in dark and suppose a window is there and the light is coming from that window, the plant stem would start bending towards that window. That means light is working as a stimulus, right? Similarly, when this bending movement, you will learn later that why this bending movement is there in the stem, but it is there, it is reacting to something, right? But these reactions are very slow, immediate reactions are not there, except few. I mean, the way you touch the Mimosa pudica, that is touch me not plant, it shows the your touch is the stimulus there and the closure of the leaves is the response, right? So they might bend, the leaves may curl. When you know that excessive transpiration takes place, at that time the stomata closes and uh, the leaves, they just roll inward and thereby reducing the surface area so that much transpiration doesn't take place. So that means there are certain structural changes, or the bending movements. There are movements, there are structural changes by which a plant shows the reaction. Right. So the way of responding by a plant is slightly different from ours, but it does react against this stimulus. These stimulus could be external. When you talk about external, light affects the plant, water affects the plant, gravity affects the plant, then your touch affects the plant, right? Seasonal changes. You might be noticing that there are seasonal plants which flower in a particular season. That means flowering is actually stimulated by a particular season. So seasonal changes are also the external stimulus. But in internal stimulus, you may talk about the water concentration, right? Controlling the turgidity and flaccidity of the cell. You may talk about the salt concentration. You may talk about the energy, right? And you may talk about the plant hormones. These all things are there to which a plant responds, right, children? So I hope that by now you understand that plant hormones are basically known as phytohormones. These are the chemicals which are secreted inside the plant, and they are basically responsible, in the form of a team, they are basically responsible for a proportionate growth. I would not say excessive growth, I would not say stunted growth, I would say a proportionate normal growth which is actually needed by the plant, right? And for this, some hormones accelerate the growth and some hormones, they control the growth, right, children? So I believe that now you have understood what are plant hormones, and you will be studying about, you have 5 hormones in your syllabus. 3 are accelerators and 2 are regulators, right? We will be discussing the effect of each hormone here one by one, and at the last of the end of the chapter, you will be studying about the movements shown by the plant, right? I have just before I conclude this video, if you can see this last line, existence of plant hormones, that the hormones inside the plant, they do exist. This idea was actually given by Darwin, and there was no term coined hormone as such. It was just that he concluded that there is some chemical present inside the plant, particularly at the tips, which is actually controlling the functional system of the plant, right? And he basically made his experiments on a small grass. Canary grass was there, and what he noticed was that every time canary grass basically shows the bending movement towards the light, and when the tip of the grass was cut, at that time there was no bending movement. So he understood that there is something which is special and is present at the tips of the canary grass. Basically, he made his experiments on canary grass, but later on the things were proved by other scientists too, that yes, the plant hormones, they do exist. Right, children? So this was just an introduction, and now I'll be proceeding further with the hormones. Today's videos will be based on the growth accelerators only, growth inhibitors, because if you do all together, you will be confused. So today we will be doing growth accelerators, and next time we will be discussing the growth inhibitors. Right, children? So as of now, I conclude, and I'll be proceeding further with the next video.